What's going on YouTube? This is the trade recap for June the 4th. Today is Thursday. And this trade, as you can see, we won. Everything's already on the screen for here. So that makes my life 1,000 times easier. Alright, I'll hop on the 15-minute because that's mainly where we saw a bunch of things go down. First thing I wanted to mark out was these highs right here. This London highs right here. And then the New York highs. Right, so actually no, we broke past that London high right there. And then I wanted to come up and I wanted to target these 1 hour highs right here, right there. I wanted to come up and I want to target this high right here, this high right here, and at the time this blue line right here was the London high. So a couple things going into the trade. Today's trade was pretty risky, but we ended up playing it in our favor. So one thing that I waited for was I waited for a break of structure to confirm that we were on the uptrend. Got the break of structure right here off that London high. Got a nice deep closure above it. And in fact, I was looking for a retrace into this fair value gap zone right here. Right there. I was looking for a retrace into that fair value gap zone. And we got the retrace off rip. And then we started filling it in on the 15-minute. Now, something that was really challenging here was this fair value gap right here, pretty challenging. And then that fair value gap right there. So hopped over to the 5-minute time frame. And I'll show you guys how we really played out this trade. So we got the deep retrace right there. We had the inversion, so we can't really long out of that, right? Because we just inversed it, so we don't know if we're going to start changing trend. That's why I marked out these draws right here in case price wants to come down to those draws. But from yesterday, what we know is, if you guys watched and tuned in the video, we saw this big overnight move to the downside, right, going into pre-market today. So that should tell us if we're really bearish from New York yesterday and we're really bearish during London session and Asia session, we can look for some bullish news or bullish confluences out of New York market open. That's still up. All right, I'll close that. Right, so we see, and then we get the fair value gap fill in, and then we start moving up a little bit. And from there, I needed to look for a nice clean entry. So one thing that I waited for was most of this trade got taken on the 1 minute. So I'll head over to 1 minute. Some of my confluences should still be up there on the 1 minute. All right, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that because those both got inversed while we were still in the trade. So we started having these big legs down, and then we started coming up. And with this come up, I mainly looked for some fair value gap getting inversed. So one fair value gap that I wanted to get inversed was this 1 minute fair value gap right there. And that 1 minute fair value gap, we traded into it. And originally I thought, all right, if we're trading into this and we see like red candles out of it and we see moves out of it, all right, to us, maybe this is just a confirmation that we want to go a lot lower because we have relative equal lows right there. So that's why I marked that out with the black line. If this candle was to come down and was to cross over this and we had the inversion on the 1 minute, then I would look for, all right, now we got to make moves down. But instead we did not. We started moving up, and then we started filling in this fair value gap, and we started having a retrace down. Because we had the retrace down, we ever so slightly ended up filling this fair value gap right there. I'll just mark it out for you guys, but it's not something that was really strong for us, really strong bias to the upside, that fair value gap right there. So we filled that, and then we started moving up. So now I gotta basically look for, all right, how can I get even more confirmation? Well, this black line that I marked out right here ended up to be relative equal highs right here. From this green candle and this red candle made a high, and then this green candle and this red candle made a high. Relative equal highs. We made relative equal highs and we started trading down, right? So now I'm like, all right, this is a nice strong point for price to start coming out of. So what did price do? Price filled in this 1 minute fair value gap right here, and then price started retracing out, and then we broke the equal highs, and then I saw a fair value gap right here. And then the moment this fair value gap got filled, we came up, we had that big candle up there. That's when I had my entry. And then from there, we started to have a bit of a drawdown, but it's not that crazy of a drawdown. Right? This is just something us traders we gotta be used to. This drawdown was 121 ticks, almost 123 exactly, right? 122. So that's a big drawdown, right? But at the same time, that drawdown is relatively the same size as this right here, this spread, this fair value gap filled into there. Those are all like essentially the same. So to us, that's nothing that we gotta fear. because we weren't even trading deep into our stop loss. And if we were trading deep into a stop loss, we have this fair value gap that barely got tapped into. We could have used that as a way of supporting, so that way we can move up. So that's why I set my stops all the way down here at these relative lows. We came into this and then we inversed this fair value gap right here, right? So we inversed this fair value gap right there, and then we traded into the same fair value gap right there. We traded into it. So for anybody who was like, all right, since we inversed this, now we have to look for extensions out of it. Oh, sorry. Now we have to look for extensions out of it. We could have honestly taken the trade from this fair value gap filament right here, which would have been a lot better for us. Also, the reason why I wanted to set it all the way down here was because we could have used these lows as a relative liquidity sweep to the upside. I mean, from there, we just had a lot of barcode price action constantly until we had this big rush up right here. I'll show you guys why we had that rush up. If anybody was to take this trade on maybe the 5-minute time frame, we had the 5-minute fair value gap filaments right there. We have small inversions, but not really. But then I want to hop onto the 15-minute time frame because we have a little bit of a deep retrace on the 15-minute time frame coming down that low. So this trade could have been taken on a higher time frame, but I honestly loved how we took it on the 1-minute time frame. And I wasn't really too afraid of getting stopped out here, only because, like I said, we had that big bearish movement coming into market closing yesterday, during post-market yesterday, and during London session we had just straight bearish, so we could accept some bullish manipulation into New York market open. Other than that, that's the trade. We hit the first take profit, we started trailing down, we hit the second take profit, and then from there I got out right here. I was at an 80% win, so you know what, that was enough for me, because then price just started moving slowly out of it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy. This was a nice short one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.